What's up, everyone? I'm Slim, and welcome back to the pre-kickoff classic interview series. Today, I'm joined by CleanX from the Toronto Ultra. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
Doing good. So, how'd this offseason go for you personally? It seems like the rest of the team re-signed pretty quickly with Toronto, and you decided to explore some other options. It seemed like, I believe it was LA that had LA Thieves that had some interest in you. So what was your plan there? Were you always planning on staying in Toronto?
Initially, my plan was always to be with Toronto. During the first year, I was still on my first contract, and going into Cold War, I didn't re-sign because I wanted to keep my options open. After Cold War, of course. So I was the only one on the team back then that were on a 1 year contract going into Cold War. And I'm pretty sure that's where the confusion started. I mean, everyone thought cammy signed midway through, stuff like that. And just to clear those things up a little bit, it was because I was still on my old first contract I got from Ultra doing MW. So yeah, that's why it took a little longer for me to re-sign because I couldn't sign till 7th of September. You know, when the off season actually officially started. But as soon as that day hit, I literally signed like within a day. So.
Yeah, last season you had some, pretty good battle with FaZe. FaZe used to, be consistently kind of number one, but what are you gonna do this year to try and be that consistent, number one team over FaZe?
Just work on like overall game modes. I feel like last year we had a bit of trouble getting into like consistency and hardpoint. Like some maps would be really, really good at, some maps would be absolutely horrible at. I think it's just clearing out, making sure that we don't have like auto vetoes and stuff like that. And it's just not possible to have maps like that against a team like FaZe. So we'll probably start there.
We had Simp earlier today, and he said he feels that they're clearly the number one gun skill team. Um, you know, but you guys often outplayed them, coordination wise, planning wise. Is there anything you're looking to change to beat them consistently, or are you guys just looking to, find your game?
Um, I think our consistent basis, like having to beat a team like that, you'd have to be having a perfect teamwork. You'd be having like the planning, everything just has to be at 100%. You have to be going hard at every single moment of that series. There's no like no little break or anything like that. You always have to like try your hardest. And I mean, it's FaZe. Their gun skill is probably the best. I'd probably put them at the top as well. Um, I mean, you can beat them by outworking them. We've done it before. I mean, they're a hard opponent, the hardest opponent you can find in the league. So, but teamwork, it can be done.
A lot of people say your communication throughout Toronto is, really good. You guys have really clear comms and stuff like that whenever there's listen-ins. How do you see teams like New York who, might have that slight language barrier with Hydra? How do you see that affecting their gameplay?
I definitely think it will affect them going into this game just due to how chaotic this game is. I know we haven't seen much like competitive being played yet from a pro perspective, but I feel like tracking names is one of the most important things during this year, and they might have a bit of problems with just like those 2 3 people speaking Hydra maybe not being on that language barrier you're talking about. I think they'll be fine. They have 2 veterans. They've been at it for literal years since I was a little baby, basically. So they'll be fine, I think.
All right, so going into this kickoff classic, your first matchup's either going to be against Florida or LAG. Is there any particular team there that you're looking to play against?
I mean, last year we played Florida first matchup. I'd like to play them again. I always play Awakening. I always have a fun series against him. Yeah, so Florida will probably be my pick.
All right, and if you see yourself going up against LAG as well, how do you think you match up against them?
They're a fairly new team, but I think we matched up pretty well against them. I wouldn't say they're one of the faster teams, but I think they work really well together. They have like, every component of a team. They have a slower main AR, a bit of like a faster player, and then like the route man. So I'd I'd compare them pretty much to us. Like they work well together, and I mean we scrimped them a little bit, and they look pretty good.
All right, so is there any team you've practiced against, before this kickoff classic that you feel like you really have the upper hand against them, or is everyone kind of on a level playing field at this point?
Um, I'd say all teams are actually pretty like on the same level so far. I mean, we had that big break going to Europe, so we didn't get to scrim most of the pro teams or like the top competition. But coming back, I definitely feel like everyone's caught up. You know, all the teams are really competitive. I feel like most of the teams are pretty close. I mean, there's FaZe, there's OpTic Texas that are like the clear like front runners right now. I'd say like competition for us. But most of the other teams are really really close in competition, and there's no like clear like worst team or anything like that during our practice. So.
Is there any, team in particular that you're kind of like, got a rivalry with or, you really wanna beat going into this season?
I mean, it has to be FaZe. I know we have a good relationship with FaZe. I mean, we're all good friends with them, you know, joke around with them, but I want to beat them so bad. They are the team for us to beat. We lost them around 7 times, only beat them once during the finals last year, and I mean they took us down to champs, so we definitely got some revenge to take in them.
Talking about champs there, how's everyone kinda feeling after that loss? Is everyone kinda taking it, in stride and it's like a chip on the shoulder going into this season? You guys are even hungrier, or how did that kind of affect the team?
Definitely affected us pretty hard during like the actual like off season, but coming into this season, I feel like we know what we're capable of now, and I feel like last year at this time we were not this well prepared mentally. So definitely going into this year, I feel like we're way more prepared for what's to come.
So, right before this kickoff classic, we've been asking everyone pretty much who they think the top 5 teams are right now. You can do it in order, no order, doesn't matter, but who do you think the top 5 are?
Okay, we'll just do it out of order because I'm not quite sure what to put, but you know, FaZe is in there. We got OpTic Texas, of course. Let me think of the teams here. um, can I put ourselves in there? I mean, I don't think we'd
You
be
can
there
if
right
you'd
now.
like to.
Nah, nah, we're not putting ourselves in there. I'd put London in there actually. You know, shout out to the Europeans making their way into the league again. I like that. You know, another European competition we've got. Um, who else? Minnesota's good so far. Um, Seattle's pretty good too. So that would probably be my top five. You know, FaZe, Texas, Seattle, London, Minnesota.
I don't think we've heard, London yet, so what do you think makes London stand out compared to the other teams this year?
Um, you know, they got the young talent. They got the absolutely crack players. You know, Afro, really good, proved himself last year. And then, of course, they got the veterans hero. I feel like people just underestimate European talent. I mean, all of the players on the team have been, you know, doing well in challengers in Europe. So I feel like people will be underestimating them, but I definitely think they're going to be capable of being a top team this year.
Alright, well, is there anything else you'd like to say before this finishes up to your fans or anything like that?
Sure. I mean, uh, all of us at Ultra, you know, we appreciate the support. I know sometimes it can be hard for us to, you know, be a European team, you know, go into the American events. But we really appreciate all the Canadians supporting. Of course, also Europeans supporting us. Yeah, that's basically it.
Alright, well, thank you very much for your time and, good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.